Good evening, Sharks fans. Welcome on in. Sharks win 4-1. I am your host tonight. You can find me on Twitter at ChrisJWS. I'm actually flying solo for the moment. Hopefully, I will have some backup in here very soon. But while I'm waiting here, I just want to say if you want to be a part of the show, feel free to jump into the chat right here. You can hit right at us. We'll do our best to respond to the chat. You can tweet at us on Twitter at TealTownUSA. And of course, give us a follow on there as well as Instagram. And for all you smart people in the chat there, yes, we will have Teal Town tonight on tonight. And it looks like I have my backup here. I don't know if he's quite ready to go. He has his fuzzy camera to go with his laundry tonight. How's it going, Erik?
Yeah. It's the fuzzy cam tonight. I'm trying to figure out exactly why my display's USB hub is not working because I have no mic and I have no camera, as we can see.
Yeah, the
But
camera.
I'm here.
You have the camera to pair with Puck Guy's internet, really.
Yeah, you know what? I guess I just had to step down my production.
Yeah, to dial it down a bit because we're getting too fancy these days. But as I said already, hit that subscribe button, give us a like. That really helps us out if you're already subscribed. And I mean, let's just get into this one because this was not the most eventful one to begin with. Not the most awe-inspiring team coming in. I looked it up. The Senators were 2-7-1 in their last 10. Of course, those two came in their last two games. Not a very good team. Justin Braun jumps back in. First period, no scoring, no penalties. Did you have any takeaways from that first period, Landi?
I mean, besides it kind of being a typical Guy Boucher defensive shutdown battle, not really.
Yeah, it was kind of sloppy on the Sharks part, I thought, because I mean, a lot of it, they were trying to skate in the puck. They kept challenging him at the blue line. They couldn't get in cleanly. In the second period, I saw them dumping it in a lot more because I think they made that adjustment. But that first period was honestly not the most exciting period of hockey to watch. After that period, shots were 6-6. So, yeah, a very quiet period. There were a handful of chances each way, but really not much to speak of. The Sharks probably got a little bit more quality than the Senators did. I think it was in the first period there that Donskoy actually had to duck out. I didn't see that hit. Did you get a good look at that?
I think it was like a puck to the face, I want to say. But, it was kind of hard to see because they really didn't have a good replay of it, unfortunately.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm not totally sure. And I see in the chat, I see a handful of comments, and we'll get to those in a few minutes there. Josh D is saying, how much of that intro do you think was directed at Burns' career but EK65 and a Reasons High contract? Because EK65 is big on community. I mean, maybe so. I mean, the Sharks have a pretty long history, though, of honoring their players. What was that tusk they gave to Joe Thornton? Was it his 1,000th point or something like that? So, I don't think it's particular for EK65. So let's just jump to the second period here because that's where things actually started to happen. Well, kind of. They opened up with a pretty good flurry. They started getting a little bit more in the Senators, and they had some good chances, point blank. Didn't actually score, but I definitely saw some improvement right off the bat in that period. What do you think?
Yeah, the second period, they just seemed to kind of attack the net a little bit more. I felt like overall they had kind of a good scheme to kind of get through the neutral zone, which was I think the most frustrating part in that first period. So, I think skating through the neutral zone was better in that second period, and I think they were able to generate a little bit more offense.
Yeah, saw that improvement. Didn't really get much of a payoff until near the very end. Pavelski finds a space between four different guys, and Laurel's asking me to fix the autofocus. I'm not sure quite what she means, but I'll take a look at that in a second. But Pavelski at 17:57 from Hurdle, and with Dylan at the second assist. Very nice shot, goes right in. I mean, you give Pavelski that much space for even half a second, boom, there you go. It's 1-0. And I like to look at the stats right after the first goal of the game to see kind of how the trend has been, because sometimes stats will even out over a game, even though one team dominated early. And at this point, the Sharks were winning faceoffs 2-1. They were getting all kinds of takeaways. So at this point, I thought, while it was ugly, the Sharks were playing a pretty decent game, and they were definitely getting the better of it. It just was kind of a messy game. What did you think at that point?
Yeah, I totally agree as well with the messiness comment. I kind of felt like I said, it was just really, really bogged down through the neutral zone. I kind of felt like the ebbs and flow of the game really wasn't conducive to much offense. But the takeaway that I have from the first two periods was Martin Jones. I mean, Martin Jones now is kind of rounding into form. Able to make the high danger saves when he's needed. And as a result, I mean, the Sharks now can play in a lot of different kinds of ways. If you want to play back and forth, they can play back and forth. If you want to play this defensive kind of responsible kind of game, they are kind of proven in the last 3 or 4 games that they can shut teams down. And then, if they need to call upon their goaltender to make some big saves, I'm starting to see a more confident Martin Jones, who's a little bit more self-assured in the net, not necessarily shrinking his shoulders, and just playing bigger, playing a bigger kind of style, where before maybe he was kind of collapsing inward on the net a little bit too much.
Yeah, I would say Jones has been improved a lot over the last 3-4 weeks now. So that is definitely reason for optimism, because I was looking at the way he was playing early in the season. There is no way in hell they're going anywhere in the playoffs with that version of Martin Jones. So it's good to see him kind of finding himself again, because you don't have to have the best goaltender in the playoffs, but you can't have subpar goaltending. That just doesn't work.
You mean you have to be able to stop a beach ball?
Exactly. The early season Martin Jones, I mean, I haven't looked at his kind of fancier stats in a few weeks, but I know the most frustrating part is, like, he wasn't terrible in high danger. It wasn't great on high danger either. But the most frustrating thing is his low danger chances were pathetic. Like, he was one of the worst in the entire league. And you can't be letting in a lot of low danger shots. Like, that's just not how it should work.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Finally, I have everything back together again. You can see that I'm not AOLing anymore.
Yep, and we have requests in the chat earlier. Here's Mr. Edgar here. He's not thrilled right now. He's looking, he's not a big ham like Kayla is. Unfortunately, he kind of likes to be independent. I had to lure him over here with treats.
Well, so what you're saying, he's like just a typical cat.
Yeah, he's a typical cat. One of these days, if I can get a kitty bed, I can put it back here. But we'll see. He tends to just kind of wander around and march to the beat of his own drum. He's kind of like Brent Burns, actually, in a lot of ways.
Yeah, and for a pause for hockey, yeah, that laundry pile behind the mattress, it's bad. It's bad, but luckily I am kind of now a week back, from my vacation, and this is kind of when I start to clean up everything again and kind of get ready for the upcoming quarter.
I call BS that your room is ever clean. And when we talk about Brent Burns there, I said he's a lot like my cat. Well, Brent Burns gets a interesting bounce there. Puck bounced off a D-man, LeBanc assist, as well as Braun. So Braun in his first game back gets a second assist. That was kind of a weird one. What did you make of that?
The Brent Burns goal, right?
Yeah, that was the goal that bounced off the D-man.
Right. Yeah, because actually, I mean, it felt like that was actually a really good play by LeBanc there, who had a really good game. I feel like not a lot was said about LeBanc and just how, he was driving the net, kind of made the most of Donskoy's absence, which is good to see because, that's another guy that you really need to start getting going here. he needs to get back into the game.
Yeah, he's struggled, and he's done a lot better lately. And yeah, look who's back here. He's enjoying some chin scratches. Yeah, definitely improved game from LeBanc. And at this point, it's 2-0 Sharks, saying okay, maybe they're going to start to pull away. About 30 seconds later, Ryan Dzingel, I think is how it's pronounced. He scores a goal, beating Jones glove side there. Just a very quick shot. That one looked to me like one, wasn't like a bad play by Jones, wasn't a great play by Jones. He was moving side to side, so not too worried about that one.
No, I didn't either. I actually felt like unfortunately Jones was a little bit hung out to dry there. That's the defenseman's responsibility to kind of make sure that puck doesn't go on. And it's funny because whenever Dzingel's name pops up, I always think Dingleberry for whatever reason.
Very mature, Landy.
Well,
very mature.
Hey, I'm sorry, but the kid needs a better last name.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, no, I think the defensive kind of structure kind of fell a little bit apart there. Not much Jones could do. It's top right-hand corner. He's already moving he's committing to the other side of the post because he thinks that puck's coming in on net. It sucks, but it happens. You kind of move on from there.
Yeah, so that happened really quick. They went from having a 2-goal lead for about 30 seconds. After that, they got their first power play with 6:34 left in the game. Honestly, it wasn't that inspiring of a power play, but at the same time, like I in games late like that where they have the lead, I kind of adjust my expectations. I figure they're not going to take any chances, but they did have a power play influence goal about 13 seconds after the power play expired. I think they did find definitively that Thornton hit the puck. It was a weird one. It was bouncing. It touched Meyer from a Burns shot, and then it looks like Thornton just got a little bit on there, and it slipped in. So that was a funky one. Did you get a good look at that?
Yeah, I mean, it's just Thornton going to the net there, and it's kind of off of a power play. You've got some momentum going towards the net, and Burns puts a good puck on net, and you're able to redirect that in. He's kind of just poking at it there desperately, and you know what? He gets a goal. So, it's good to see that the power play, even though it didn't score, it actually generated some I guess some momentum.
Generated some zone time there, especially at the end.
Yeah, and I was actually kind of going for momentum, because I think that you're right, they had the zone time. It was able to kind of wear them down a little bit, and then you're able to capitalize. So, a good power play is going to be giving you momentum. It's going to be, creating chances and stuff like that. It doesn't necessarily always have to score, but just be dangerous and to kind of wear the other team down. And you know what? You get a goal out of it, and yeah, you kind of get that 2-goal cushion again, and the Sharks can kind of coast in from there, right?
Yep, for sure. So that gave the Sharks a 3-2 lead, so their second 2-goal lead of the night. That was about 4 minutes left in the game. They pulled their goalie about a minute and a half, 2 minutes later, and Melker Karlsson is able to cash in on the empty net with a minute 21 left unassisted, and that was all she wrote, because it was pretty uneventful after that. No funny business that some teams like to get up to when they're down several goals, and they got to do something during that last minute because you know how that goes. But overall, not a pretty win, but really how you get them right now. You just, getting 2 points. 2 points is 2 points is 2 points right now, this time of year.
Especially, I mean, you're looking now at the standings, and the Sharks hold up second place with a game in hand on Vegas. They were a point up on Vegas, but they also have a game in hand. Very quietly putting together a very dominant on ice, on home ice performance. I mean, Boston and Tampa Bay, Boston's got 16 wins on home ice. Tampa Bay's got 19. But over in the West, I mean, we're matching the best with Winnipeg, who's got 16 home ice wins, and we've got 16 home ice wins. So, it's good to see the home ice domination kind of coming back to the forefront here. And, when you're 8-1-1 in your last 10, things are going well. Things are going well. So it's good to also see them kind of win in a variety of ways. And like I said, they're really now starting to show that that defensive prowess can come back, and it wasn't gone. It was just kind of muddled in there while they were waiting for the game to come around.
Yep. And should plug this real quick. I see there are 50 people watching. Thank you so much. If you are new here, hit that subscribe button. We do this every single game, every single Sharks game. We haven't missed one in nearly 4 years now.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do this every game. We appreciate your subscription. If you aren't new here, though, hit that like button. We really appreciate it. It helps a lot. Getting back to what you're saying there, in the standings, San Jose started the day third in the entire league, and they end the day third in the entire league. Vegas jumped them for about a minute there, and they jumped right back over Vegas. I mean, it's looking like they've kind of figured it out, because this is their longest win streak of the season now with 6 games. They're no longer kind of hot and cold. They're no longer losing to really, really bad teams. Oh, and thank you very much, Christine, in the super chat there. Appreciate it very much. 1 for each goal. 4 in the net super chats you get.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we're continuing this donation collection to get Puck Guy better internet. It's going to take a lot of money, though.
Yeah, I think we can get him probably in the mid 2000s with what we've gotten so far. We're hoping someday he will be in 2018. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. You're familiar with the super chat. It's like a little tip jar. If you appreciate what we're doing here, feel free, but don't feel obligated.
Maybe we can use the $4 to buy some more Earthlink CDs for Puck Guy.
I don't know. We might have to get him a CD drive first. I think he's got like a 5-inch floppies or something.
Yeah, right. We need to get him into this decade. But yeah, I mean, look, the Sharks are really on a roll right now, and I think for me the biggest question mark was in goal with Martin Jones. How was he going to kind of pan out this season? And I think he's definitely on the upswing, and that's the biggest takeaway. Besides the defensive scoring and besides just how locked down they are, it's how well Jones is playing. And I was, count me as one of the really concerned with the save percentage as low as it was. But you know what? He's kind of come back into his own and kind of shake the rust off a little bit. Had a 964 save percentage tonight, and he's back over 900 for the season, which is incredibly important. So,
and in the super chat once again, we have Josh D's with $4.20. Smoking.
I might know that reference.
I've heard that number holds some kind of significance. I really don't know that. I'm an innocent person. I have no idea. I don't know anything about this.
We're only in California, and Southern California for that matter. But hey,
these nuts. Yeah. Anyways, Martin Jones, like you said, is over 900 finally. I mean, the part of the problem he's had is he's had good games where he hasn't really let much in, but they allowed so few shots that it didn't help his save percentage. But it's good to see him kind of getting on track. Justin Braun was back in tonight. I see Dave V. Pilot doesn't seem to be very happy with him. I didn't really see a lot from him either way. Honestly, I didn't notice him much tonight. Like I didn't see a lot of bad stuff. I didn't see a lot of good stuff from him. He did play 18 minutes, 21 shifts. Mostly pretty quiet night from my perspective. Did you notice much of his game tonight?
Well, I mean, on that Burns goal, he got the second assist. I guess, was it the Burns goal or was it a Thornton goal? But one of the two where he kind of got that lead in pass to Burns. It was good to see that he's making good up passes. You kind of wonder his puck tracking just a tiny bit because, he was on a little bit of a layoff and, his skating wasn't that great earlier in the season. But you know what? He didn't look too bad. He was making some quick decisions. Felt like the decision making was pretty good. So when he's not noticeable, that's a good thing, right? And when he's chipping in with a secondary assist, that's also a good thing. That's all you can ask really from him. And quickly, I mean, now Jonesy is at a 903 save percentage, but he started the night at a 901, and his goals against average was 2.80 starting the game, and then after the game, he's at 2.74. So, you know, it's, like I said, trending in the right direction.
Yeah, definitely. And the other thing, you know, when Vlasic gets back, I hope to see him start to trend right, because if Vlasic finds his game, if Braun gets out of the way a little bit more and is less of a liability, that'll help Jones' the save percentage. That'll help the whole team, because right now this team is getting by without their shutdown defense pair of the last 5 or so years. They have done this without the guys who have been big minutes eaters and black holes for opposing players. So if they can find like half of that mojo and get it back, this team could really, really start to roll. They're rolling without that right now.
I mean, you know, it's interesting that we talk about that, but they are playing their best defensive hockey with those two out, which tells you just how bad they were this season, you know? And sometimes it does take an injury. Sometimes it does take a bit of a shakeup on the blue line to kind of get the pieces back in. And now you're seeing Karlsson's utilization be mixed up a little bit, being forced to really play a little bit more of a defensive role. You're also seeing Burns be a little bit more defensively responsible. Oh my gosh, it's actually a thing, but you know, a little bit more responsible in his own end. And AJ is flipping us off at the moment.
That wasn't at you, man. That was the comment that I just saw from Josh
Yeah.
D. I think
Josh D is not happy.
He's nuts.
And we're pretty much just wrapping up the post game part here, AJ. But what were your takeaways tonight?
Drew Remendo was fantastic on the call. No,
you got your man crush Monday or whatever it is.
That's all it is. You got to give it up to the fact that this had trap game written all over it. Granted, Ottawa, worst team in the NHL. So, I mean, how could you follow up a 5 or 6 day span, whatever it was, where you beat the best team in hockey, you beat one of the hottest teams in hockey, and then dump to Ottawa? Like, you just cannot let that happen. Braun coming back. Ooh, look, it's media member AJ Strong.
Good for you.
Hold on. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Yeah. Do I need to go to a wide angle screen to fit my ego into this shot? So it was,
I think you need to join from multiple computers.
Yeah. I think you need multiple camera angles to capture all that ego.
Come on.
We've seen your multiple camera angles tonight, Landy. No thanks.
But this had all the makings of a trap game. The fact that the Sharks did not fall into it was fantastic. The time was not nigh. Not tonight. The only thing that was a little bit of a bummer to me is the fact that Karlsson, EK65, you would have thought that he would really want to get at least a point against his former team tonight. Went without, but that's fine. The other Karlsson did, in fact, make up for it. So at least one Karlsson scored tonight, and I'm fine with that.
AJ, I got a quick question though. Are we worried that Erik Karlsson hasn't had a point in 2 games? Is it time to trade him now?
Dude, pull the ripcord. Like,
that dude is not going to resign now. 2 whole games at a point. That's just not going to happen.
Yeah, the fact that he could be suspended for 2 games and have the same amount of points as he's had for the last 2 games. That's not right.
Yeah, right.
Well, I said on the broadcast tonight he's only not scored against 2 teams, one being his former team, which he'll have to wait till next year to do now, and Chicago. And I think the Sharks play Chicago at least once more this season, so he should have at least an opportunity to do that.
Well, that's a good point. The Sharks actually play Chicago on March 3rd. So, yes, sir. I have my schedule right in hand. So I look forward to
dandy schedule.
Yeah, it was, I don't know how long they can roll this. I think we need to talk to our buddy Uncle Darren on the Twitter, Shark Stats, and find out how many games have the Sharks started a new year without losing. I would figure this is going to be pretty damn close. 6-0 in 2019. I loves me some 2019 Sharks. I really loves me some 2019 Martin Jones. I got to tell you, all of a sudden, like last 3 starts, I mean, 947, 957, and then I haven't. What was
964,
and then 964 tonight. Hello, this
It's
is the Martin Jones this is the Martin Jones I've been looking for.
yeah, it's like he found the secret stuff. You know, if anybody remembers that Space Jam reference, but he's got
Michael's secret stuff. Yes,
exactly. He found it.
No, and none of Josh Deese's secret stuff. We know what that is.
Ooh.
And I'm seeing that those 2 remaining games against the Blackhawks are both at the tank. So, ooh la la.
Okay, well, hopefully he should be able to score a goal, because I think it's specifically goal, not just a point, but a goal.
But
and with that,
we got Pittsburgh on Tuesday. I mean, I think that should be a good game, but you think, the way that they're rolling right now, I think they could beat Pittsburgh. Then it's at Arizona, but then it's back east. And of course, it's another game against Tampa Bay. Don't tell me that those guys are not going to want a scotch of retribution after the Sharks ended that ridiculous streak they were on.
Yeah, I expect they will want a little payback. That'll be a tricky one for the Sharks to put a pretty bow on this one before we move on. So final with shots was 32-28 for Sharks. Dead even on hits. Face-off, Sharks actually won 2 face-offs for every one they lost. So they did really well in the face-off tonight. 0 for 1 on the power play, 3-0 on the PK. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a pretty game, but it worked just fine. It got the win, got the 2 points. I think let's move on. AJ, do you have a sounder for us? Do you have a bit?
No, sorry. Jumped in late. If I'm not running stuff, I don't bring my sounders with me, unfortunately. But Forepaws asking if I'm wearing contacts tonight. No, but thank you for asking, I suppose. Like, I can read without glasses; they just help. But I appreciate your you're keeping tabs on me. I appreciate that.
Important things. We ask AJ this pretty frequently. I mean, that's like half our Twitter chats. So
yeah, it's like Landi's man bun, my vision.
Yeah,
Puck guys AOL connection. Everybody has something.
Yeah, well, we got 2 donations. We have like $8 now in the YouTube chat, and so
no, I didn't get LASIK, you tool.
So I think we have enough money now to buy some more Earthlink CDs from eBay.
Oh, really? I thought we were gonna get Kayla a new cat bed.
Yeah, actually, I think we'd rather spend on the cat.
Yeah, the priority hashtag priorities, guys.
Look at this woman. She so does not care right now. She's just rubbed the tummy. I don't care if the Sharks, whatever they do, just keep rubbing the tummy.
Yeah, she don't care. So I guess since we don't have a sounder, AJ, do your best impression of our wraparound intro.
I gotta think of it now. For what is it? For the love of what is he? Laurel, help me out. What does he say? I'm trying to think of it now.
This is great radio, AJ.
Yeah. Okay.
Have the common goddamn courtesy to give him a reach around.
I would say, okay, for the love of God, have the goddamn common courtesy to give him a reach around.
Okay. And with that, I will do my best here. I am nowhere near what Puckeye is, but we had 11 other games going on tonight. So the Devils over Flyers, they won 3-2. Miles Wood with the game winner. Rangers over the Isles. Mats Zuccarello, one of my favorite hockey names, gets the game winner.
$2 for reach around, baby.
Yeah, the reach around gets all the money. Lightning over Buffalo 5-3. Stamkos the game winner, and we did not add one to the population of Pominville.
Thank God.
Birth control. Habs.
I thought the reach around was birth control enough.
The Habs beat the Avs 3-0 shutout for Carey Price. The Bruins over the Maple Leafs. Pasternak, I think is how it's pronounced.
Yeah,
the game winner there. The Breadman Panarin scored the game winner in a 2-1 Columbus Blue Jackets over the Washington Capitals.
OT, baby.
Yep.
Hey, Andy, man, I have to point this out. You win the chat tonight. The LA Kings sweater, the best method of birth control.
Very nice.
Fight
Red Wings stomp on the Wild 5-2. Vanek with the game winner there. Knights over Blackhawks in OT. 4-3. Shea Theodore with the overtime winner. What's up, AJ?
No, I mean, dude, I'm down with like blowing through the reach around like you're doing, but how do you not call out the Red Wings game without throwing up one of the biggest douchebags in the NHL, Bertuzzi, having a hat trick?
Bertuzzi.
I'm just saying.
I kind of didn't want to even mention that.
Well, you got to at least call it out.
Yeah, this is not journalism, AJ. This is opinion. So I can I have editorial control here. But Blues 3-1 over the Stars. Patrick
the
Maroon
Blues
with the game
beat
winner.
the Bishop.
Oh, they beat the Bishop several
They beat
times.
the Bishop hard.
And the Desert Dogs over the Oil. 3-2. Connor Garland getting the game winner there. Last I checked, Kings and Penguins is in progress, but I saw the final go. It's 5-2 Kings over Penguins. So Penguins lost. They are probably not going to be very happy when they show up here on Tuesday. And that is your quick reach around. I'm not the best at it, so I did my best.
No, if only the Oilers had...
Your reach around form needs some game workmanship there.
Yeah, Puck Guy gives the best reach arounds. I'm an amateur at it.
The Oilers, if they only had a goalie.
If they only had a lot of things. A coach, a blue
Connor
line.
McDavid play goalie?
He can do everything else, probably, but who would score then?
Dude, the next game for the Sharks is versus the Penguins. This is going to be the Sharks going to have to put this on lockdown. You look, okay, yeah, they lost tonight 5-2 versus LA. Game before, they scored 7 against Anaheim. The game before that, 5 against Florida. The game before that, 3 in a loss to the Blackhawks for some reason, but then they shut out Winnipeg 4-0, and then they put up 7 against the Rangers. Dude, the Pittsburgh Penguins, while they don't have the best record over the last 7 games, the thing is, though, they might be losing some of these, but they're putting up goals. Sharks defense is going to have to be on lockdown. We'll see if Vlasic makes it back. I don't know that he's going to. I don't know that Braun had the best game tonight, but you have to. Here's my funny thing about this whole deal is that first game of 2019 versus Colorado, Vlasic goes out. If you remember, it wasn't that long ago. The Sharks could not buy a win if Vlasic was not in this lineup. And now Vlasic is not in this lineup, and they can't figure out how to lose. This is fantastic.
Well, not only that, but they're playing their best defensive hockey when the guy's out.
Right?
Who would have thought? I don't know. It's just funny how cyclical these things are. But, like I said before, I'm just glad that they're kind of reintroducing Braun and in a kind of a slow kind of form. He didn't stand out to me, which is a good thing, right?
So 2 things real quick. First of all, we have 69 viewers watching. Hey now, we'd like to
it's a great number.
We'd like to welcome all of you. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button. We do this after every single game, and it's just a great number. Like for 69 viewers, hit the like button. Anyways, go back. Sorry.
Well, in the chat, pointing out from a couple people from Gackle, Don Scory right now, upper body, no updates. That kind of figures. It looked like he took a puck to the face or took a shot to the face tonight. So we'll see how long, if that goes for another couple days.
At both, he took a puck to the face that got him a gusher. And then the next shift that he comes back out, Borieski does a helmet on helmet hit and just knocks his head back. So I'm thinking conky.
Well, to me, you also have to take into account the fact that the Sharks are still riding 8 defensemen. So, okay, Charchi is up here. Maybe you see if Donskoy is not going to be in for the next game, maybe they take this opportunity to put Charchi down and bring up Perron finally to see what he can do up with this club, see something out of it. But if Vlasic comes back, then obviously other things need to be called into play. But if Donskoy is not going to play the next game, God, I'd certainly love to see Francis Perron at least get a look with the big club. He's certainly earned it with the Barracuda, and we'll see what happens tomorrow, because the Barracuda are playing tomorrow, 3 o'clock versus the Stockton Heat, and this is Worcestershire, the Worcester Sharks night. So if you go to the game tomorrow, first 4,000 fans get a replica Worcester jersey. So please go watch some Barracuda hockey. They're killing it in their division, people. So you got nothing to do for this weekend. Who wants to watch playoff football tomorrow? We all saw that the Cowboys lost today. There's really nothing else to watch for, right?
Yeah, it's not going to get any better than that. Yeah. Let's just be real here.
Well, I actually, you know, I'd love to see the Patriots lose. I think that could be the only thing better.
That's fine.
I do not think so. The Cowboys losing is the height of everything.
But I did want to ask, guys, I mean, do we think that LeBanc with his game tonight might go up in place of Donskoy, and you bring in maybe Gambrell or Churchier on the fourth line?
Let's not get crazy. LeBanc had one decent game. He actually had a goal taken away from him tonight. A lot of people thought LeBanc scored instead of Donskoy. I'm not going to get crazy. I'm still one of those guys that thinks LeBanc needs to sit for a few games. But then again, he's one of those guys. It's very similar to kind of like a Nils Ekman type of a player. If you roll it back, where it's, if you put him on a line with really talented people like Joe Thornton or whatever, he'll produce a little bit. When you put him out there to try to help make a line better, he doesn't make it better. The Pats, the Patriots losing makes everything better. Thank you, Joss D's nuts. We appreciate that. So,
hey, D's nuts is making it rain.
These nuts.
He's just dropping the singles on the stage here.
So I think with that, good time to wrap things up. Again, go check out the Barracuda versus the Stockton Heat tomorrow. Game at 3 o'clock, doors at 2. First 4,000 fans do get a replica Worcestershire Sharks jersey. Go check that out. In fact, I think there might be a couple former Worcestershire Sharks that will be signing. I haven't heard who yet, but if you go back and look, during the Cleveland Barons, it was Douglas Murray and Jonathan Chichu. During the Kansas City Blades, I believe it was Tom Peterson, and I can't remember the other gentleman, but you watch in about 5 seconds, Steve Cropper will put up that name in the chat. So by all means, go check out yourself some Barracuda hockey. We will be back with you following Sharks versus Pittsburgh on Tuesday night.
Guys, I quickly over the chat. Couple quick questions. Trading. I mean, do we think the Sharks are going to stand pat, or do we think they'll add a little something? I came out on Twitter and I suggested that if the Sharks are going to do any kind of trading, I'm thinking it's going to be Philadelphia. And the reason why I say that is Chuck Fletcher is now installed as the GM there. They're looking to make some moves. They've got some UFAs coming up. And you know how Doug and Chuck love to team up on some blockbuster trades there.
Yeah, can we trade Yoki Ryan for Gritty?
Ooh.
Ooh. Any move that has to be made, though, with the Sharks this close to the salary cap, they're going to have to get rid of some real salary if they're going to make a big move. So
get rid of any type of a move that happens. It's going to be a prospect involved, because the Sharks, let's talk about it. They really don't have a lot in the way of picks right now, so it's going to be a prospect. It's going to be a current player.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying too. It's got to be at least a roster player, right?
But Wilson has already talked to Gackle and basically said that he's more than will. For the longest time, we heard that Doug Wilson, when he would make a trade, it was always about making a trade for a player that was ready to go now, but also that was something that would attribute to the future. That was something that would produce for the future. That is not what he said in this last interview a week ago. It was just kind of like, no, we are literally in win right effing now mode. So if we add anything, it's going to be because it's time to win now.
Carlson was a swing for the fences move during the summer. So yeah, he's not gonna wait for that to work out. No patience on that one. They're gonna go for it. So part of me thinks like Braun is one of the most expendable, but I don't know with how he's playing if anyone's really going to want him. But you know, crazier things have happened. He got 2 second-round picks for Douglas Murray when he was a friggin' anchor on that blue line. So crazier things have happened.
You have to give some love to Doug Wilson and what he's done over the last few years. I mean, he's really as bad, and I'm like guilty as hell of shitting all over the draft. You know, when it's like when you look at like their last 2 number ones, it's you traded Mirko Mueller away. You traded Nikolai Goldobin away. You know, it's like, how bad did you do in those first drafts? But you look at the players that are in this pipeline, whether it's Markley or Chekovic or Shemlevsky or whatever, there are some significant names in the pipeline right now that are killing it.
Well, so, not to mention, I mean, we harped on the defensive side of the puck, but AJ, I mean, we've got some really good kids. You know, Middleton, you know, seems like he might be a player.
DeSimone,
Raw even, you know, I mean, you know, he's kind of been off and on, but that's another guy. And then the guy in college, what the hell, second round, yeah, no, not Merkley, no, second round, Ferraro. Oh. Ray, not Ray, but Mario Ferraro.
Ray Ferraro.
I'm like, come on, brain, work on this. But yeah, the defensive side of the puck seemed to kind of really get stocked up here. So
okay, I have a couple of things to show off because Steve won't shut up in the chat. So I will do that now, and then I'm going to get the hell out of here, as we should all do. So Steve sent me a whole bunch of stuff because he knew that Mr. Remenda was going to be in town. So here's a couple things. Here's some Kansas City Blade pucks signed by the one and Mr. Drew Remenda. Here is okay. See, I don't want to. Okay, I gotta cover the addresses. This is a package that evidently Steve sent to Drew like over a year ago, and Drew just found it, and so he brought it with him and handed it to me. So there's stuff in here. I'm not sure exactly. It feels like a puck is in there, and then. This is probably the coolest part is, you know how they have those inserts? They used to have those inserts for the program. This one is, the Sharks versus the Phoenix Coyotes, not the Arizona Coyotes. 2009, featuring Randy, Andrew, got both of them to sign it. So, Steve, you I don't know, maybe you owe me like a firstborn or something. I don't know, something. Oh, wait a minute, hold on. Now Steve is saying open the envelope.
And
I didn't realize I had to do an unboxing video here.
We're on air.
Here we go. All right, we're tearing it open.
Drum roll.
Yeah.
Steve's saying double bagged.
Okay, so there's a Jesus Christ.
Are those Kansas City made programs?
Steve evidently sent him something from the Kansas City Marriott. Wow, this is kind of cool. I want one of these, Steve. It basically says it's basically telling Kansas City people how to play hockey. I'm not even lying. There's there's a whole hockey vocabulary thing. But either way, you can see Drew signed both of these. I kind of want to keep one of these, Steve. And what else is in here? Oh my God. All right. I have a whole $16. Not sure what I guess that had to do with Steve giving Drew some money to send.
Probably postage back.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's mine now. Let's see. What
like taking that as a tip.
Let's see. Oh, there's a cool, a small, I don't even know what this is. Some sort of card. You can see it's got a serrated edge on it, but there's a card. Drew signed that. It's almost like a baseball card kind of a thing.
Look at the picture.
It's just dude, he's that like darkened goatee, dude. It is so like grunge, dude.
It is so the Star Trek alternate universe version of Drew, the evil guy with one of the mustache that comes through the portal when time is warped.
And then finally, yet another Casey Blades puck. So There you go. I have so much Drew Remenda signed stuff. I'm going to be check out my Drew Remenda eBay store tomorrow morning that will be open.
Fanboying.
Yeah, no, but I'll be sending this stuff back to Steve. Oh, well, if I don't send it back to him, maybe, you know what? Should I? I know Steve's going to be here for what is it? It's the February game. Is it the second? The game on the 2nd versus the Stockton Heat. Should I wait? Oh, and I also have myself a silver Sharpie and a black Sharpie. So Steve was very generous to me today.
Yeah. It seems like Santa Steve there sending all the presents.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. And with that, AJ, you want to give your final thoughts before we sign off here?
Hey, keep doing whatever it is you're doing. You're undefeated in 2019, so keep it rolling. Everything doing very well. These were interesting.
Yeah.
And this is the giveaway tonight, the Guardians of the Net Martin Jones bobblehead. For those of you who watch the show, 59 of you watching right now, do us a favor, give us a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. Between now and let me see, we got Pittsburgh on Tuesday, Arizona on Wednesday. One of those games, actually both of those games, now that I think about it, we'll figure out a way to give away one of these to one of our watchers on after the Tuesday game and the Wednesday game. So if you're interested in one of these, there you go.
All those great giveaways. Yeah, so you should make sure you're subscribed, make sure you do all those fun things, and follow the Instagram, the gram for sure.
Follow the gram. I am AJ_Strong on the Twitter and the gram as well. And there you go. Have a great night. We'll see you after Pittsburgh.
Landi, your final thoughts on the night and the year, I guess.
Okay. Final thoughts on tonight. Played a really good lockdown game. It was boring, but you know what? This is a good time to kind of tune up the defensive game, get Jones in gear, and keep it rolling, boys. As far as what's coming up on the schedule, I think we got some couple really interesting games coming up here. That Pittsburgh game is going to be interesting to see how the Sharks kind of play against a couple superstar players in Gino and Crosby. And I'll be looking out for that. If you want to hit me up on the Soch, you can find me using my first name, Erik, E-R-I-K, last name, Landi, on all of the social media garbage.
Excellent. And I don't really think I can say much more than you guys already said, because it's been said several times, but the Sharks are very much trending in the right direction. You're starting to actually feel safe trusting them a bit now that they can win consistently and put it together, and that's good, because man, it was depressing watching such a talented team early in the season just struggle so much. Last time they faced Ottawa, that was the ugliest game of the season. Tonight was ugly, but it was ugly boring. It wasn't ugly bad on the scoreboard. So with that, Sharks win 4-1. Good win, undefeated in the current year. So they are on pace to win every game this year, obviously, if you extrapolate that the rest of the year. So there you go. With that, have a good night. You can find me on the Twitter, Chris JWS. Please follow Teal Town USA on there as well. Follow us on all the Soch, our YouTube channel here. Obviously, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. If you're Jessica, I guess hit the dislike. Leave us a comment afterwards if you're watching this on the replay. And with that, everyone have a good night. Be safe.
Keep it real. Keep it Teal. Keep it real, Teal.
Oh, is somebody say Vancouver?